Hello and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Ryan. I'm here with my co-hosts Ethan and Josh.
Let's go
We are
Ravens.
excited. We are excited to review Week 5.
Some of us are.
Before we begin, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Last Place FP. So, guys. Week 5. Week 5.
Weird. And for everyone who's wondering where our news and injuries episode went, my computer said we're not uploading it. So we're gonna figure it out what happened. Trying to figure that out, but do apologize about that. But basically we just kind of had to move on without it pretty much. And there's a lot of things when week 5 we have to like kind of move on. About to
Yes,
for sure. I mean, I know Ryan, we have a set order, but I think we need to let Ethan vent a bit.
Go ahead. All right.
So we're gonna come out of the gates.
So we need to come out of the gates.
We'll go ahead and do it. All right. Our first up is the Falcons Bucks game. Ethan, I will go ahead and let you take the floor. You have 2 minutes to rant.
Listen, this could have been such a better game if the reffing was not so terrible. I mean, in the early parts of the game, it was good. It was fine. Like they were calling it both ways. The refs weren't super involved in the game. They're just letting him play. And it was good. It was an entertaining game. It was a very physical game where both defenses were really just going at it. Marcus Mariota still looks terrible, and we're waiting on Desmond Ridder to come in and see what he can do. But before we get into stats, eagerly waiting, I would say. But I mean, it came down to the last drive there that Tampa Bay had the ball, and Atlanta got a stop around the 40-yard line of Tampa Bay, and they called Terrell for a good press for defensive holding. I don't know how like two extended hands and he's directly in front of him is holding, and also Tom Brady wasn't even looking at him. I know that doesn't affect too much of holding, but it's not like it directly affected the play, but it was just a good hard physical play where he got his hands on him. It was within 5 yards. I didn't see anything wrong with it, but whatever. It was kind of a judgment call, and I wasn't on the field, so whatever, let it go. Next series, they get a stop again. Grady Jarrett seals it with a sack, and he gets flagged for roughing the passer on a routine wrap and roll. Like, I don't know if you guys saw something that I'm missing, because typically they only call that when he picks him up and slams him.
Does Jerome Boger not know how physics work? Like, I'm going to say this here because I'm tired of this, because Brandon Stevens last week, same officiating crew in Ravens Bills, gets called for roughing the passer again. That we're talking about the same thing, and he's like, "Oh, he did this and that," and it's like, that natural. He tried to let up as best he can, and the only reason you threw the flag was because Josh Allen complained about it. This one's even more egregious. This is awful.
And my thing is too, like, I'm all for protecting QBs. One, I think it's gone a little bit too out of hand. But two, why are we throwing a flag on what looks like a routine play that's going to decide the game?
Exactly.
Because that's a big sack. Atlanta has a timeout before the 2-minute warning. Like, we're going to see him go for it. And they ruined the game.
Yeah, no, they completely ruined the game. And, I mean, the Bucks win, basically. That seals the game for them. No, I'm just as upset as you are, honest, because this is literally the second straight week this officiating crew has messed up a call that's impacted the game, and this is not even including the playoffs last year, Raiders and Bengals. At some point,
to which they got it, to your credit, Josh, suspended for.
Yeah, but
okay, we're way past 2 minutes. Wrap it up.
No. No, I'm tired of this.
Final thoughts, Josh.
Here's my final thoughts on this. Holy crap, does this guy get fixed? My goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Like, this has to get fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. The refs still love Brady is my final thought.
Oh yeah, he's still paying.
Giselle,
He's
the
still
real
paying.
reason why Giselle divorced Tom Brady is because he's
Oh.
always going to love the refs more than her.
Yep.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yep.
And
But
that's just the cold hard truth.
I mean, I to go back to actually talking about to the game, you have to be. I feel like Ethan, you have to be proud that Falcons were in it till the very end, minus
Oh yeah,
two terrible calls.
they're getting
and
better for
getting
sure.
better, and they're only going to get better with Desmond Ritter. That just goes back
Right.
to our preview episode that
Right.
they just
And
need it. It has to be Desmond Ritter time at some point.
Yep.
Right. And I mean, like, if you're looking at stats this game, you know, Mariota looked terrible throwing the ball, but rushing, he was very effective. Both Algier and Huntley looked good. Receiving, I mean, because Mariota looked so bad, there wasn't much. On Tampa Bay side, Brady was super sharp. Lenny looked good in the pass game and just overall. I mean, he had 10 receptions. Good Lord. And then Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both look good, but that's all.
Well, and
stats that really
I want to point out Kate Oton, who is
I mean,
filling in
Cade
for
looked
Cameron
really
Brate.
good.
Off of 7
Yeah, he
targets,
looked
he got
really
10
good.
points. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, 6
I
as
think-
a backup.
I think he might have to be an automatic stash. Obviously, if you're in
Yeah.
a dynasty league, you probably have him stashed already. But
Yeah,
if
I've had
you're
him
in,
stashed all
if you're in
season
a, if
and
you
not
have,
said a single word.
if you're in a redraft league, you might want to consider this because the tight end pool is just weird this year. Just
It
Well,
seems like there's
and-
like no tight ends this year.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's very hit or miss.
very
the
hit or
only
miss after
Really consistent ones have been Zach Ertz, surprisingly, and Goddard and
Andrews and
Kelsey.
Kelsey. Yeah,
And
Andrews and Kelsey.
Those have been the only
Well,
consistent
Mandrews
ones.
has been up and down kind of, but
Yeah, a little bit.
But when he's been up, he's been up.
he's been up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
That was the
I-
game. I mean, it would have been a really good story, but the refs just completely ruined it, and that's really all you need to know about this one.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and I just wanna say something about Drake London. Well, I want to pose a question. Is it
Okay.
panic time for Drake London?
No, because the ace in the sleeve is
No.
still there, and his name is
If-
Desmond Ritter.
Okay,
Like I would still
okay.
hold on to it because
Because
literally,
I'm panicking. I'm an owner in some leagues, and I'm panicking
Well,
a little bit in
mean,
redrafts.
Here's something to look at too. Like he's gone up against 2 really good defenses the past 2 weeks, which is where you've seen his production dip a little bit. Also today, not having
Kyle Pitts there.
Kyle Pitts in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a struggle.
Yeah, they
And
probably
you know,
ganged up
Tampa
on
Bay
him.
is a
I never
top 5
watched,
defense. So
but
yeah, I mean he was their what's it called that they were double teaming. He was their key. So
Mhm.
it was a
Okay.
physical game. Like that's really all you
Yeah.
need to know is just very
And it
physical,
looks-
even in the
it looks
secondary,
like
like
it.
pushing around receivers. So
I
am proud of the Falcons.
moving
though.
on. Yeah. Good.
I was
moving
just gonna
on
s-
to. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
My one quick
Final
point,
thought.
final thought. The fact that Mariota only threw the ball 25 times and was still 14 of 25. I mean, if that doesn't tell
Mhm.
you we got to get Desmond Ritter in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what will.
It's like 2 straight games that you've seen it.
He's struggling really hardcore.
Yeah.
But also, if he's struggling this much and they haven't put him in, what does that say?
That is true. That
What does
is
that
very
say?
true.
Because like it could be
Well, a lot
there
of
could
it
be
is
something
just
going
Arthur
on.
Smith is saying like I believe in my guys.
Of course, but he also drafted this guy for a reason.
Yeah.
So
But he
know,
did say he wanted to take his time with him, and he didn't.
of
wanna
course,
throw
and
him.
and
You can-
developing him,
and you can-
there's
You can
a
always
good way of developing somebody
Yeah.
is letting him see the field sometimes.
but you can always
So-
put a player on the field too fast.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think
of course.
that's the big scare.
Mhm.
And so I think that obviously there's caution with that. I think the point I'm making is that Mariota's so bad right now regarding fantasy and regarding just actual on the field play that Desmond Ritter right now, as undeveloped as he is potentially, is a better option. And
Yeah,
that's my point that I'm bringing up.
And that's kind of the point that I was hinting at. So I kind of agree with you, Josh.
But going into next week,
let's
the
go.
Falcons are my upset candidate against the 49ers.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll keep an eye on that for next week.
We got Colts Denver.
Yes.
Colts Denver.
The worst game of this year so far.
Do we have to talk about this game?
I don't. I think we can just brush over it. I think it's just
Russell Wilson looks bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was just a
Gordon
Thursday night. I think it was just a Thursday night nightmare. And I think everybody can just, get over it.
Forget that they watched it. Other than Alec Pierce.
On to this week.
Alec Pierce looked really good.
Alec Pierce looked good.
I think Pittman was just completely just Surtain got him bad, honestly.
Yeah.
But honestly, my big thing out of this is that Russell Wilson's not the quarterback I thought he was. And
we kind of hinted on that in our
we had concerns about it, yeah.
In our news and injuries, we kind of talked about it a little bit, Josh, but since that's not on the air, we can kind of talk about it a little bit here.
I'll make a long story very short. So the reason why KJ Hamler is slamming his helmet on the ground in frustration is because this man was so open. But Russell Wilson doesn't even look at it. That's not his first option to look at. It's Cortland Sutton. So he actually looks left first. So the issue with this is that he knows the play. And if you realize KJ Hamler's route, it's essentially the same route that he gets picked on in the Super Bowl, that Malcolm Butler picks off. It's the same combo. It's a pick route. It's a clear route with a pick underneath. Now, the issue with this is that the fact that he doesn't look at it first, because that's a quick route that's the first option. Either Russell Wilson has basically PTSD to where he doesn't look at it, he will never throw it, or it's just bad play design. And either option is not good. So as Joe Burrow gets sacked, but that's my issue. I'm leaning on a lot of the issue because the option was there. I'm more willing to believe that Hackett had the right play called. And I'm more willing that Russell Wilson just badly executed it because he will just not throw that route again. And if he can't learn from those mistakes, I'm willing to go recency bias and revisionist history to was he just not the quarterback we always thought he was?
Yeah.
That's the point I'm at now.
And with that was pretty much the game.
That's about all that needs to be said on that because there wasn't much that went on. It was a very bad game, very slow, just grueling.
But we had Giants Packers this morning.
Yeah, moving on to our London game. This was an early game this morning. I got to watch it way early. It's weird watching football on Sunday
at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's weird watching football in the morning.
Dude, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was ready to watch it. I was like, you know what? I'm probably gonna wake up at 9:30. I'll watch the end of the game. No, I completely missed it. I was out. But
this was the New York Giants, Green Bay Packers. Danny Jones did not look very good.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't really like how he looked out on the field today. They leaned really hard on Saquon.
I thought he looked good. I liked what I saw.
But they leaned. He was very accurate. But he just, I don't know. He didn't have that zip that he normally does.
Well, he's also hurt. That's also the other issue.
That's true. That is
both
true.
Quarterbacks are hurt. The other issue on top of that is this Giants team has basically said it's Saquon or nothing, and they've just made it work. Which scares me because
they've reverted back 3 years.
Yeah, I don't
think
they have no receivers. That's the issue. Yeah. There's literally no receivers to talk about. Kadarius Toney's not really out there. Neither is Wandale.
Yeah. I mean, Slayton had a good game. But that was really good.
But they should use Slayton more. That's what I will say. But that's where it's like we're gonna ride or die with Saquon. So I will say personally, if Saquon goes out, avoid this team at all costs.
Oh yes, for sure.
Which I hope Saquon doesn't go out. he can do
Other
a
than
full
that,
17.
man, I mean, on the other side, like Rodgers, he played okay, nothing really special. Aaron Jones was having a tough time. AJ Dillon looked good. They just
Never
refused
used
to give him
him.
any work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
And then
just think
Randall Cobb
I
had
don't like it.
to
Had a
turn
game.
back the clock.
He
Yeah.
had he had a pretty good game. He was targeted a lot by Aaron Rodgers. And honestly, I think Aaron Rodgers treats him like a safety blanket.
I think so
I think
too.
he's his go-to whenever he's like getting stressed.
Yeah.
So
Lazard with 8 targets, Dobbs with 5. Tunyon had 4, so that's good for Tunyon. Christian Watson only had 1 target, so that's
still figuring that out.
And hey, speaking of turning back the clock, Mercedes Lewis had a touchdown.
Dude, Mercedes Lewis is immortal.
I haven't seen him get a touchdown. I haven't seen him used.
I watched him play in the NFL for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 5th grade.
Yeah,
I know.
And I am a grown man now.
He's
immortal.
The ageless one. I mean, geez.
How old is he? That's what I need to know. That's it. I'm looking this up. How old is this man?
Well, Molly looks into his age.
Ryan, he's 38.
He is 38. Oh my gosh. For a skill position, that's like
for
really,
a tight end. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but
so that's about it for that game. On to craziness. The Steelers-Bills game. Absolute craziness.
Hey man,
I think Josh Allen.
Kenny Pickett ready to fight.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen had almost 300 yards.
Oh, he had over
300 yards in the first half.
It was like 338 in the first half.
Oh my
or something like that. This game was over with the first
play.
The first play, the 98-yard Gabe Davis touchdown. Like that game was over.
Yeah, I mean, this stat line is reminiscent of Randy Moss. 3 receptions, 171 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
He averaged 57 yards a catch.
57 yards a catch. That is very impressive.
God.
And
Diggs,
help them.
Yeah.
Diggs 8 catches, 1 and 2. Diggs might be receiver 1.
I think he is. I think
that might stay.
Up there.
He's going to be up there. He is leaned on in this offense, and I think it's because
and Shakir
they have. I get that, but like I think there's just so much skill at wide receiver on this offense, and having Josh Allen as your QB, it's just there. You can't cover everybody.
Code.
You can't cover everybody.
You can,
and there's. That's why they're so dominant. So
I honestly believe in this game
stat
too.
Line.
Yeah.
Get this stat line for this offense. Guess what their point differential for the first 5 games is?
Oh boy.
Just guess.
I'm going 17.
I'm going. Wait, you're talking about like plus something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The point differential.
It's like I would assume plus 105 is my call.
It's 91 through 5 games.
Oh my God.
91 points. Total through 5 games. Yeah, their point differential.
Crazy.
91 points. Like they blow everyone out of the water. The closest one is the Philadelphia Eagles at 47.
Well,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, they were just boat racing everyone.
Yeah. Exactly. They're just relying on Josh Allen's arm.
And I honestly believe in this game. Like they started calling in some run plays, and Josh Allen just like looked at him and shook his head.
He was like, no.
Josh Allen's like, I'm feeling it, dude. Like we're good.
It's like I'm pretty sure he said Z slot.
Yeah. He's like, no, I'm having fun.
Straight out.
Yeah,
let's just go.
And he goes, all right, screw it, Gabe Davis down there somewhere on 3.
Just run.
Go.
Just
all
run.
All right, boys, time to go all 4 birds. Here we go.
Yeah.
We're just playing backyard football now. Just run. That's it.
Let's see how much stupid crap we can do before they stop us.
Exactly.
I will say, just to kind of end, I really want to know if they did anything that really puts Pittsburgh in a bind on defense because Pittsburgh's calling card has just been defense, and that's what keeps them in close games.
Yep.
It almost felt like they said, you know what? We have Josh Allen. He can throw to the moon and back. Let's just attack Minkah Fitzpatrick, which is something you just don't do. Or did they find something to where it's like, hey, this is going to be the trend from now on?
Yeah.
But if we want to go the Pittsburgh side.
Well, I want to point out one more thing that's
I feel like
interesting.
The only thing on this. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think James Cook has officially leapfrogged Zach Moss in the depth chart.
Not surprised because he can be a pass catcher as well.
So, because there's, 6 carries from Singletary, 4 from Cook, and they only gave Zach Moss the ball once. And that's it. So,
yeah, this game was over.
Yeah. So, either they're trying to get him into the game a little more, or he's leapfrogged. So
literally,
it's up in the air.
I'm looking at the averages. Devin Singletary only, here's the problem. If you think the Bills will blow a team out, don't start Singletary. But Singletary, 6 for 42, average 7 yards a carry. James Cook, 4 for 31, average 7.8. The only thing I like to point out is they both had a long of 23 and 24. So, for example, with Devin Singletary, 23, so that means that's an extra. That means he went 5 for 19, basically, which is still not bad, also not too great. James Cook, on the other hand, went 3 for 7 yards if you take out the 24-yard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of propped up by the long run, but I just find that interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, on the other side, Kenny Pickett still has no offensive line, but when he can throw the ball, he likes George Pickens.
Yep. I would say it's George Pickens' time.
Yeah. Well, and Deontay Johnson was targeted 13 times, but he only caught 5 of those. That's the problem.
I'm not worried about Deontay. Claypool got 9, which isn't too bad, but I will tell you the big fear now I have. Well, I don't have a big fear because we called this, and it's that you better be pushing the panic button on Najee Harris.
Yeah, he hasn't reached 16 points in.
At this point, dude, he averaged 1.8 yards a carry.
Oh, that's
the longest was 6.
Jeez.
Again, I just
we called it.
Terrible Pittsburgh offensive line.
Yeah, no, my biggest issue is they're so deep at receiver, but this O-line has to get fixed.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trust Najee until I see the O-line get fixed.
But I also want to say Jaylen Warren saw some significant work.
Which, again, that also was coming because they said early in the offseason, it's like, hey, we can't just run Najee into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So literally,
Ryan, what do you got for us next?
Yeah, well, we've got Chargers Browns. So Nick Chubb had another day, and so did Austin Eckler. It was pretty much the duel of the running backs.
Ethan, I want to talk to you about this. So I was pushing the panic button on Eckler. Now Eckler puts in a second. Yeah, let's start with Chargers. Eckler puts in. My bad. Eckler puts in a second good day. At this point, are you going to consider the first 3 weeks as a fluke, or do you think it's how will you explain the Austin Eckler situation? Because I think the issue for me was the coaching staff really thought that was a good idea. And
I think that's where they were the first. I think that's where they were the first 3 weeks, like you're saying. They're like, oh, this is going to be what's best for us. And then I think it's what we were talking about last week of Eckler said, yeah, no shot. And then now it's more tailored to him. Now, especially now that they're seeing success with it, I would be going Eckler all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So I think Eckler's good now. They're just gonna keep using him, especially the fact that Keenan Allen is still out. But Mike Williams, 10, 134, 13 targets. Can't complain about that. That's real good. And then, do you think Herbert's a good buy low option?
Yeah, I would be buying Herbert if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's been a 4,000 yard passer.
Like he only
for
had
the last
15
2
points
seasons.
today, but you know,
I mean,
I
all
would.
the points were on the ground. Eckler took the game over.
Oh my god, dude, Eckler was just disgusting today,
Yeah.
and I couldn't
Eckler
be
was
more
just
happy.
crazy good.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the ball, Nick Chubb, crazy good.
Nick Chubb's going to end up as running back 1.
I think he's going to be running back 1
He's
or maybe
going
running back
down
2.
soon.
I
He's
think
going
running
down
back
soon.
2, but he's solid. Like he's
Yeah.
looked very good.
Just remember, Nick Chubb, like every other year, he's going to take a 3-game hiatus.
That
So
is true.
everything looks good now, and then in week, like 9 to
Yeah.
12, or week 10 to whatever, all of a sudden he's gone.
Can I ask y'all a question?
What?
How much are you willing to give up for Njoku right now?
A decent bit.
Because Njoku is getting used. This is the 3rd or 4th straight game of like really good tight end production. And right now, I think that is so valuable because there aren't a lot of tight ends doing that. I might give up quite a bit in order to pull that off. Like I would go like Freiermuth and a few players to make it happen.
The only problem is he's currently on a team who is the owner's dead. So.
Oh, in our league.
He's on Phillips.
In our league. Oh, okay. I was like,
well, no. I'm just saying in general. Like, what would you give up?
In general.
Because I mean, in Dynasty, I don't know if I give up like picks yet, but in redraft, I'll give up quite a bit to make this happen.
And Ethan, Philip's been talking to me about trades. So you just have to contact him.
Ryan,
I've been hitting him up.
I didn't. I asked him if he'd be open to it.
Marcus Peters talked some crap to Hayden Hurst. Oh man.
So okay, let's go ahead and go on with.
Besides that, Amari Cooper is a good pickup.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd pay for Njoku. I'm not a huge believer in him because tight ends are year after year. If I'm gonna pay for a tight end, I'm gonna buy someone that is going to be good more than just this year.
Okay. I will say in redraft, I might go all in on him.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay, so you'd pay a lot.
Yeah. It's just.
I'm trying to pay for Ertz, man.
Ooh, Ertz is solid. He's got a connection with Kyler.
Yeah, he really does.
Okay, is there anybody else that you want to talk about on the Browns? If not, we'll move on.
I think that's about it.
It was the Nick Chubb show.
Yeah, it really was.
Okay.
Except
it definitely was. So let's move on to the second highest scoring offense in the league. The Detroit Lions, who just got shut out by the Patriots.
They just got their
Belichick, man.
Shoved into the
absolutely shut down.
Look, when you meet Pat the Patriot, hands will be thrown, all bets are off.
Yeah.
And don't mess with Belichick.
Yeah. A notable standout. A notable standout I would like to point out, Ramondre Stevenson, 161 yards.
Starting
25 carries.
Thank the Lord. And I know
Damian Harris's dad
got hurt.
It's because Damian Harris got hurt. They expect him to be back soon.
But I still think it's still Ramondre. Like I said,
Ramondre is sending in the hitter to kill him.
Yeah, but it's a hamstring injury, so it might linger. He might struggle with it for the next couple of weeks. But until then,
it's going to put him down like a horse.
Yeah, until then, Ramondre Stevenson is a number 1 RB.
Yes,
I believe so.
I think so too, honestly.
And what is this? What's going on with the Patriots? And it's always a different receiver. Like Kendrick Bourne has had it.
Well,
Aguilar's had it. Myers
I think it's just matchup. I gotta say,
Jacoby Myers has been fairly consistent.
I was about to say Myers has been the most consistent, and he would be the only receiver I look at for the Patriots. Yeah. Now, I still think it's kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs situation to where you don't know which receiver is going to take off each week, so avoid all of them and don't play that game. Yeah. But Jacoby Myers is still starting to break out from the rest. So I do think that becomes does become an interesting scenario.
So this is kind of my final thought on this game really quickly, but I think Jared Goff was cursed before the game even started, because on like all the pregame talk shows, he was Jared Goff was their like consensus must start QB at this point. And I just think they just cursed the crap out of him.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, even then.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I was just gonna say I have a question, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, Jamal Williams wasn't as good on the ground this year. I mean, I'm not this year.
Nothing to say about the Lions. Just on to next week.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Ryan.
No.
Hey,
let's
besides
go. Craig
Josh
Reynolds.
Craig.
Josh Reynolds, not Craig. Josh Reynolds, but also
Josh went off today.
Yeah, both Reynolds. Craig and Josh did pretty well.
They're like stepbrothers.
They are stepbrothers.
Not as fat and goofy.
They are the stepbrothers. There you go.
I'm just imagining the poster right now with Josh Reynolds, Craig Reynolds.
So I have a question. Where did the Patriots get 29 points if there was no rushing touchdowns and only one receiver scored one touchdown?
Well, let me tell you, Kyle Duggar had a touchdown, and I think it was a ton of field goals. Yeah, okay. Nick Folk had 5 field goals. So that's 15 points and then 2 touchdowns. That's fair.
I was like, there's got to be at least one defensive touchdown, but I'm like, I'm only seeing one touchdown on the offensive side. And I'm like, how do they get 29 points?
2 touchdowns and then 5 field goals.
Ryan's like,
3, 15 math.
I'm like, the math doesn't add up.
Ryan's like, I am confusion.
Yeah.
What do the numbers mean?
What do the numbers mean? Okay. So that's pretty much it for that matchup.
And that was the ball game.
Ramondre Stevenson, streaming candidate for the next couple of weeks until Damian Harris.
Not even streaming. You probably have to trade for him.
He's a start. He's a start. Yeah. He's a lock for the next couple of weeks at least. And even then, he's a low end RB2 after Damian Harris comes back. Because I think through these next couple of weeks, he's going to prove to this organization that he deserves that number 1 spot.
Who's next?
Who's next? Seahawks next? Saints.
Okay.
So this wasn't even the Seahawks versus the Saints. This was the Seahawks versus Taysom Hill. This is what it really was.
Okay.
Taysom Hill.
I don't know how they managed
Taysom Hill
to lose this game.
outscored the Seattle Seahawks.
Taysom Hill 1 of 1 for 22 in the touchdown. Taysom Hill 9 carries for 112 and 3 touchdowns.
Three touchdowns.
Oh my gosh.
And threw for another one.
I just don't understand why they didn't want to key off of him and be like, oh hey, there's the guy who's beating our entire team single-handedly.
But
literally let's just triple team him.
Can I just say another thing that I also find very interesting? Kamara is kind of back to normal today, 23, 103, but also led the team with 6 catches.
Yes.
I think they'll have to keep doing that, especially because Olave's hurt. Michael Thomas.
Out with concussion protocol, wasn't it?
Yeah. I believe so. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, see, I love how the week that they implement these new concussion protocols, like 10 people go out in the first couple of games with concussions.
Well, I think the big thing though, Ryan, is I don't think teams are playing around anymore.
No, they're not. They're not. But I think it's funny that all of this is happening now.
I'm just frustrated.
They added ataxia. That's all they did was add ataxia to the list of symptoms.
But it's also the PR, because Miami's PR is like they're in overdrive right now. Especially with just the Tua stuff and all. I mean, we'll have to talk about that game because they're in some sort of trouble. Not like
Um,
bad, but
But
like
on the other end, Gino looked good again.
I
think
Just
Gino's
not
a
enough
start.
gas.
yeah, Gino's a start.
Yeah.
Like
Gino's a
everything.
start.
Think of everything we thought Matt Ryan would be and place it in Geno Smith. That's exactly what it
God,
is.
don't say that. Anyways, moving forward from that
No,
nightmare.
no. Hold on. Rashad Penny, more than likely out for the
Yeah.
next couple of weeks at
Kenny
least.
time.
At least
yeah, it's
the next
Kung-
couple of
anytime.
weeks.
Kung Fu
But
Kenny.
hold on. At least the next couple of weeks. But there is a chance that he could be out for the entire year. So this definitely is Kenneth Walker time.
Kung Fu Kenny.
KW3. And then Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf both ate this game.
They really did. And
Yeah.
we
they're
thought
thriving behind or with Geno Smith.
Oh, this does not help Russell Wilson at all. The fact that both of them are doing work. Because it was always one or the other, and now it's hey, we're both doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's
Russell who?
Really, yeah, it's great.
Except the only thing they didn't do was beat the Saints, which I really needed them to for the NFC South purposes, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, they almost did, but then Taysom Hill.
If ifs and buts were Kenny Nut Ryan, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, speaking of Merry Christmas, Dolphins, Jets. Brees Hall is here.
Yeah, the Brees Hall. We have the Brees Hall game.
Christmas came early.
Though I would like to say one thing, guys. We have been saying, hey, Brees Hall has basically taken over the backfield for weeks now, and then it finally resulted in this game.
Who is right? Good job, team.
You were right.
Good job, team.
I was panicking. I was starting to panic.
High five, everybody.
Oh, well, I mean, high five me and Josh because we walked you off the
you did.
Edge.
Yeah, you walked me off a ledge, to be honest, because I was really freaking out about the trade between me and one of my league mates. I gave away DeAndre Swift.
Who?
DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Smith
for Naeem Hines,
generic NFL player
first pick, and Tony Pollard. And that was like, I was panicking that I wasn't getting anything from them. So getting Brees Hall with that first pick was awesome. He had almost 200 yards from scrimmage,
and which
was ridiculous.
Well, he broke the Jets record for all-purpose yards from scrimmage. Brees Hall did. This is the record because he had 179, if I'm not mistaken.
That is crazy.
197 actually. So.
Wow.
Oh yeah, good God! I didn't.
Yeah, the receiving threw me for a loop. I was like, wow.
See the 2 receptions. For 100 yards.
He had a 79-yard reception, which was impressive. He should have had a touchdown on that, but he went all the way to the 1-yard line, and then they put Michael Carter in, and he rushed in for a 1-yard touchdown. And he vultured. I know he vultured Brees Hall's touchdown. I was not happy about that.
Touchdown managers, everybody.
It's all right.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Dang.
Wow. I have no idea what that safety was looking at, but they just ran mesh rail and called it a day.
Mesh rail,
can I say something interesting about the Jets?
No,
because I do find this
Final
interesting.
thought on the Jets before we move on.
Okay, if the run game's working, then no receiver's safe. Because no one had more than 4 targets all game, and they basically was just like run the ball.
It was the Brees Hall Michael Carter show.
So this is my only fear out of that is that if they match up really well running the ball, they might just stick it with them, and you won't get a good game out of like Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, or Corey Davis for that matter. Yeah. Like literally all 3 of them had 4 targets each, which also makes me feel
less than 40 yards.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that makes me feel good about Elijah Moore. Is like the targets are there. It's just, they just got to be made. Yeah. So, but I do think, though, this is going to help Zach Wilson tremendously, that there is a semblance of a run game now.
And Zach looked good today.
Yeah. I mean, he was efficient. I mean, 14, 21, 210. I mean, yes, he didn't. But, like, when you're averaging 10 yards of completion, essentially.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. You're doing good there.
Well, and your running backs are doing that well. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about
And
the other
then-
side though, because
yeah,
this
let's
is
go
where
to the other side.
all right. So one, Raheem Mostert, pick him up. He's probably still on your waivers. If not, you're gonna have to trade for him.
Yeah.
Teddy,
yeah.
yikes.
I want to say Chase Edmonds. Who? I mean,
Yeah,
he was a pickup in all of the drafts that I was in fairly
died.
early rounds.
Yeah,
And now he's irrelevant.
Drop Chase Edmonds. Just do it. I just cut the cord. Don't expect him to come back. Like, he was so touchdown dependent earlier in the year too. It's just not worth it.
Well, and I feel bad for one of our league mates, Duran. He dropped him 2 weeks ago, and then I picked him up, and he did well last week, and now he's blown up this week.
Are you talking about Mostert?
Man, yeah, Mostert.
Yeah,
I picked him up off of waivers 2 weeks ago.
It kind of does make sense because Mostert does have knowledge of the Shanahan system, especially with McDaniel. But I guess it for 2 straight years of being hurt for so long, I guess I just needed to see this game to be like, oh yeah, it's for real. And luckily for me, I was in desperation mode because Khalil Herbert did nothing because Monty came back. So I had to
gosh, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
I want to talk about that game.
I had to throw.
We'll talk about it. It's coming up.
I had to throw in Mozart just last minute. Worked out really well. So
it worked out really well.
Yeah. Final thought on this game: the Dolphins are dead.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say final thought. If Tua's not in the game, they're running the ball.
Yeah, and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill struggle without Tua. So and Teddy Bridgewater.
While Tua's out, you shouldn't be starting Jalen Waddle. I'm gonna be the one to say it.
Yeah,
I mean, even Tyreek Hill is a low end. Is a low end RB.
He's a wide receiver too. Tyreek Hill is.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's all we've got for that game. It was a absolute Jets blowout, which was kind of fun to see.
It was brutal.
It was fun to see. Next game, we got Tennessee Titans, Washington Commanders. This game came down to the wire.
Trash.
But this game came down to the wire. Okay, you get 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
What play call was it at the very end? Look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't blame Carson Wentz for the pick. The play was DOA. The last 3 plays they called there were DOA. I don't know what you're trying to do to have these long developing routes and just not have a hot read and make it work. It makes no sense to me. I do put this on Scott Turner and the coaching staff. The play call just honestly makes sense. Again, I've always said, if you do find there's an option that works and like someone's open and the player doesn't hit it, then I'm going to put it on the player. In this situation, no one was open. So either they just knew what the Washington coaching staff was going to do, called it perfectly. I mean, it's Vrabel. Most likely that's the case. Or the flip side of that is they're so predictable and they just did not call a good play to where it left Carson Wentz to be left stranded, basically. And I think that's what happened at the very end.
Yeah.
Okay.
So looking at Commanders first, then I guess.
Well, yeah. I just want to say, like, Tennessee with Derrick Henry, this was a classic, like, 2020 Tennessee Titans, where they leaned on Henry.
We're looking at
Titans first.
I'm nervous about Henry, though.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to last.
It's 28 carries, 102. They need
and then your typical inconsistency at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm very encouraged seeing Westbrook Akine being used. I don't think. I mean, he didn't see a whole lot of targets, but he was decent.
Who is Brown for the Commanders?
Diami Brown. I was super high on him. I was super high on him. Then they drafted Jahan Dotson, so he was like, okay, I guess we can't use him. But since Dotson's been out, it's been Diami Brown.
Interesting.
Curtis Samuel has been getting a lot of usage.
Dude, it was weird. It was weird. So like Well, because the thing is, again, we said it. Carson Wentz is a rhythm thrower, so he needs a couple plays in the beginning, and that's where Curtis Samuel's been very useful.
Mm-hmm.
It's the short option. It's the short option guy, and then to where, oh hey, I need to get the ball out quick. Here's Curtis Samuel.
Yeah,
and so, but like they scheme up for Curtis Samuel, but yeah, we cannot get that for McLaurin or Dotson or Antonio Gibson.
Nope. Next game. Yeah, Gibson is dead.
Yeah, Gibson's dead.
No, but the return of Brian Robinson, that's awesome seeing him.
And he did nothing.
He didn't do much.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's working his way back.
I still say stash him though, because based on what we saw in preseason, he will be used.
Yes.
And that was that game.
Yes. That was that game. Moving on to the Texans, Jaguars. This was another slow game. Not a whole lot happened.
Dameon Pierce is the truth.
Yes, Dameon Pierce. He's now an RB1. I think he's RB1.
Yep. And I traded him too early.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars were the #1 run defense until these last 2 weeks.
Wait. We do have to say something about this game.
You gotta say something.
ETN over 10 points.
No, okay.
Over 10
wait.
points.
Let's focus on Texans first, and then we'll get to ETN. So Davis Mills, still getting there. Dameon Pierce is legit, and then Nico Collins. I think he's pretty legit. It's either gonna be Nico or Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, either or.
Okay, now Jaguars.
ETN finally.
I know he finally freaking did it, man.
10 for 71. He had a 30-yard rush there, so that's still 9 for 40, which isn't too bad, honestly. That's like a little over 4 a carry. Yeah. James Robinson, 10 for 27. I think we're hitting Javonte and Melvin Gordon, like Melvonte levels, because this is the second game in the row.
Melvonte. How have I not heard that before?
Oh, really? You haven't heard of that one?
No, I've never heard that before. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I'm pretty sure Fantasy Footballer started that one, and then it just took off on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter first. I was like, Melvonte. I was like, that's perfect. But they both had 10 carries. And then the big thing with ETN here, though, 5 targets, and then he was 3 for 43 there.
Yeah.
I feel like what we hoped ETN would be, it's slowly coming together. It's slowly coming together. I think he could be a league winner still.
Yep.
And 2 things I want to point out, because you guys pointed out the running backs. I'd like to point out receiving. Christian Kirk, 1 for 11.
Oof. Hey, man.
I think that's Stingley. Big oof.
I think that's Stingley.
Oof. And
I put that one on Stingley.
Yeah. And then Zay Jones, 8 targets, 3 for 12.
Yeah, Zay Jones is going to get the targets. It just didn't happen today. Like, if you had 2 more targets.
He had a lot of drops.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's still coming back from the ankle too.
But Evan Ingram and Marvin Jones led the team in targets and receptions. So that's about it for the Jags. Trevor Lawrence struggled really, badly.
The offensive line is still terrible.
Mm-hmm. So
that's about it. You're going to take the lumps, but I mean, even in this struggle, Trevor Lawrence is still way better than what he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, please tell me we have a good game next.
Yes, we do. San Francisco Niners versus the Carolina Panthers.
Does Roll get the X is what I will say. And oh wow, Kenyon Drake exists?
Yes, he does. He does.
Wait, are we starting Panthers? Panthers?
All right. Yeah, which side do you want to start on?
Yeah, let's go Panthers.
Let's go Panthers. Baker
Mayfield died.
Baker.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't even see the end of this game. How did he get hurt?
Yeah.
Did he? I have no clue.
He is
injured.
Didn't
watch this game.
Oh, he is injured? Okay.
He is
That explains why PJ Walker had 6
PJ Walker
passes.
Was fairly efficient.
Well, the game was
5
over.
for 6.
But McCaffrey 14 to 54. Yes, it's not good, but touchdown kind of saves it.
And he had 7 receptions.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, we tried to avoid using McCaffrey. We have no choice now.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I text you guys? Because I was watching the beginning of this game. Oh, yeah, it was DJ Moore finally getting screens now. And it's just like, really? Now you're going to do this?
And then they stopped.
And then they stopped, but like,
And so did their offense. But anyway,
again, it's like feels like plays I've already seen before.
Yeah.
And I only played up until college, so it's just like, that's not good.
Yeah.
And I mean, on the other end, like San Francisco didn't look good. Just Carolina was that bad, is what I would say about this.
Hey man, I'll take
I mean, Jeff
points.
Wilson though.
17, 120 and a touchdown. I'll take that. They kind of shut down Debo. I do put that on JC Horn though. And that is the other problem with the San Francisco offense, is that I feel like even though they're winning, they're reminding me why they drafted Trey Lance in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Garoppolo does not look good.
Yeah, like Jimmy G, like he can only do so much.
Yep, for sure.
And that
for sure
was
that game. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go on to our next game. The Vikings 4-1 versus the Bears.
Skull.
You know what? The Vikings are ranked in the NFC right now?
Got to be 30th.
Number two.
In there.
Who's number one?
Number 2 in the NFC. I am so happy.
Who's number 1?
I know it's not going to last because I'm a Vikings fan and I'm a realist. So it's not going to last.
Dude, Kirk took off. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Kirk had a good game. Jefferson had a good first quarter. The rest of the game, it kind of sucked for him, but he had a good first quarter.
Dude, it was like, 7 for 91? And I'm like, we have 3 more quarters to go. I mean, but he ends the day 12 for 154. Yes, please.
Can you imagine if he had 28 receptions for like, oh my God.
Brandon Marshall all over again?
Ridiculous. God. That would be ridiculous, but would be awesome.
I do want to bring up one thing. We told you Dalvin Cook was going to be okay. 18, 94, and 2.
He had a good day. I was worried about him last week. He proved me wrong. I put him in my lineup this week, and I'm happy I did it.
Good. I'm glad you did. Glad you did.
I don't make the same mistakes that you make, Ryan.
Irv didn't do too bad, to be honest with you. I just thought it took me a second. Yeah. It took me a second.
You guys are terrible. But also, I do want to say, Jalen Reagor, his first touchdown is a Viking, I believe.
For 1 yard.
1 yard touchdown. Good job.
Yeah, everybody in Philadelphia still hates him.
Yeah. I was gonna say, he's a native to this town that we live in right now,
and he's hated in Philadelphia. On to the other side. He is hated in
Philly. Yeah. Okay, so Monty was basically announced like early in the morning that he was playing. So I know for a lot of people, including me, who had Khalil Herbert, it was like, okay, time to abandon ship, abandon ship, and if you started Herbert, I'm so sorry.
He looked good. He looked good.
And he had
not in
David Montgomery had a very stunning 1.7 yard per carry average.
But
so good.
The receiving saved him though.
Saved his butt. That was an extra 10 points on.
Well, and he had the rushing touchdown, but
but I mean, 1.7 was his average. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like Khalil Herbert did that much.
Of course. Darnell Mooney actually led the team in targets. So he's actually seeing work, Josh.
He might come back.
He's seeing a little bit of work.
He's still dead.
A little bit. He's still
dead.
But
you're dead to me, Mooney.
Well, okay, so I'll be honest, though. I might look back at him to pick him up. It's just down the field throwing I'm concerned. I'm actually more surprised at Kmet getting 4 for 45. Mm-hmm. I'm actually more surprised at that because
he was dead too.
Yeah, he was dead. I drafted both of them. Yeah.
And with that being said, on to the next one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So
is it last one?
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh,
no, Dallas Cowboys, Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, so this Rams O-line's a problem.
Yeah,
this is bad. This is bad.
Stafford was panicking the whole time. He did not look good for him.
Here's where
Akers is still terrible.
So I do want to talk about that because I think the issue is that I just don't think Akers' vision is there because he's I think now he's become a lot more of a downhill runner
Yeah.
which is not helping especially when you want to run zone. And then on top of that, when your O-line's not good. And so he's just kind of running into the defense, just all right, okay, we're done. 2-yard gain. So it just hasn't been good like whatsoever.
It hasn't looked good at all.
And so either the Rams have to make a trade for O-line, or you get a speed threat. And Tutu Atwell had that 54-yard catch, which opened things up a bit. And they really do need that speed threat. But if you're going against a good D-line, you start Cooper Kupp and that's it. I don't even go with Stafford at that point. The issue is, I think this offense is just not good. It's just too weak right now. And I think they're banking on development. But this is where they kind of have to pay the piper, basically. And they made actually probably the better phrase is they made their bed. Now they're lying in it.
Yeah,
and it's not a very good bed.
The only two startable options I'd say are Cooper Kupp and Higbee.
I would agree with that.
That's about it.
But on the Dallas side, Tony Pollard only needed 8 carries to make an impact.
Yeah,
no joke.
He looked good today.
He did.
Granted, one was a 57-yard run, but he still was good.
And Zeke for 22 is 78. I liked what Dallas's game plan was. It's Zeke is not gonna have the greatest game, but we're just gonna use Tony Pollard in spots when this defense is tired, and then he's gonna blast them basically. And that's exactly what happened. But I still think Zeke is still good for what they want to do. It's just not good for fantasy anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then for the receiving side, it was pretty even.
But it's going to be all CD and Gallup.
It's going to be all CD, all Gallup. And even then, it's 60-40 CD. And in that case, 60-40 in favor of CD is still going to get potentially low-end receiver one, honestly.
And boys, we've made it.
And they are, but no, we got one more game.
I was going to say, I know.
I'm saying we made it to the last game.
I gotta say that Dallas has kind of been limping its way to 4-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've just been barely passing by. Their defense is what won this game.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's see who Dallas plays next. So they have Philly next week. Ooh.
No, they're not going to win that.
Oh yeah,
they're not going to win that. No.
But everybody, they got Detroit the week after.
Get your Cooper Rush undefeated T-shirts.
But
before next Sunday.
I've got to say, if because I think it's is the Lions on bye next week?
Yes.
I think they're a week 6 bye.
So
they're going to have Swift back
for that
help.
Yeah, but the defense is still trash.
The defense is still trash, but they're not going to be able. Remember, this is one of the highest scoring offenses when they're fully healthy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
I don't know if they're going to be able to play catch up if they are at their week 1, 2, or 3 health.
Who knows? Dak may be there. Dak may be
back.
But can Dak keep up?
Might.
That's a good.
I guess we'll find out.
That's what we have to find out. But if you're looking at the next 4 matchups, Eagles, Lions, Bears, Packers.
Hey, Hayden Hurst just scored a touchdown. I'm glad he's on my bench, and I started Conkles.
All but the Eagles seem winnable for this Cowboys team.
Yeah. Except next week.
Except next week. So
Jalen Hurts did Jalen Hurts thing, and Goddard is alive.
Any big takeaways that you guys are thinking about going into future weeks from the
Cowboys
from week 5? Well, no, from week 5 in general.
Oh well, we still have one game to go. Game to go, and
I am blind.
So
yeah,
let's do. It's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, right.
And Arizona Cardinals game. Our last matchup, Kyler running around looking like a toddler out there, how he normally does. He looked pretty decent. He struggled, but he looked pretty decent. He looked pretty decent
Ertz is consistent.
Against this Philly defense.
Rondale Moore
say.
woke up finally.
Woke up, actually came to the game today, and
Yeah.
did what he was supposed to be doing for the last 4 weeks.
So
So
I have a question for you guys, and I do want to bring this up.
go ahead.
Even if Nuke comes back, I think Hollywood's going to be still a viable option.
Oh yeah, Hollywood's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean the big fear though out of a lot of people, because I had him as my season bust, because I was like, all right, well, Nuke's coming back in week 6. I don't know if he'll do very good, but I mean this offense, especially because James Conner is just not getting it done, I think Hollywood Brown becomes a viable option. So
do you think Ertz takes a hit though?
I mean, I think they're at the point where they may just stop running the ball. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have James Conner, you try to trick someone into getting him at this point. Otherwise, James Conner, like Najee, abandoned ship.
Okay. Miles Sanders didn't really produce a whole lot this week. Not very encouraging, but it was kind of the Jalen Hurts show.
But even then, the Arizona defense held their ground surprisingly.
Yeah. They held them. They held them.
Yeah.
They scored fairly consistently throughout the quarters, but it was danking and dunking and letting Jalen Hurts, just containing him. Like they weren't letting him get big runs.
They were. I mean, the Eagles' offense though was just efficient. Like when they needed to pass the ball, they could do it. When they needed to run the ball, they could do it.
Yep.
Like Dallas Goedert, 8 for 95, Devonta Smith, 10 for 87, AJ Brown, 3 for 32, and that was it.
Yep.
Right. But the biggest thing I like to point out though is 9 targets for Goddard, 11 targets for Devonta Smith, and 7 targets for AJ Brown. I think Hurts is able to prop up 3 people. Sign me up. I'm happy about that.
Yeah,
for sure. That's about it. That's all we've got.
Yeah. So, all right, back to the question.
That concludes us.
Is there any big like takeaway that you think maybe like that you may have to worry about in future weeks from what you saw in week 5?
No, I don't think.
No, I don't think I see anything grand scale to be worried about, other than like Gibson.
Well, I mean Gibson, but we've been telling people that. I think Ramondre would be the big one for us.
Yeah,
I think in terms of positives, on the other hand of that, I think Atlanta's going to be scary in the NFC, and that's something to watch.
Okay. Is Jerome Boger going to get suspended?
God, I hope so.
Dude,
like I don't suggest that like he be hazed when you see him in public, and I'm not calling for that.
No one's calling for that.
Don't call for that.
No, I'm not. I would never call for something like that. But
I just want to whatever.
If it happens, it happens.
I think we need to find out which game he's calling next time. I think that's what we need to do, is just figure out which game it is and then go, okay, keep that in mind. And then
keep an eye on it.
And then watch. He's going to screw that game up too, and we're going to come up on the show and rip him again next week.
Yeah, I hope not. I did have one thing to talk about with you guys.
Let's do that.
It's talking through our 2 trades that happened this week. First one, for those of you that are listening in, we announced like trades that happen in our league and kind of go through them and talk about them. One happened this week between me and one of the guys in our league, Tyler. And it was a rebuild trade for me, and it was he's trying to win this year. He's trying to win out.
Yep.
So
He's not
and
going to.
get to the championship.
Well, he's
So,
losing. He's losing this week. I just
he's losing this week, but he's trying to win this year, and I'm trying to rebuild.
Okay, so let me bring up the trade. So that trade. Oh wow, it won't even show up for me. Okay, so the trade is Ryan receives Javonte Williams, a 2023 first and a 2023 third for Josh Jacobs and Damian Harris. The first thing I would like to tell you, sir, is how on earth
Good foresight.
Yeah, good. I would say good foresight on you because, because Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs are probably not going to be with the teams they are on right now by this time next year because they're both on that last year of the rookie deal.
How you sold those two for a first round pick, a third round pick, and then this level of a running back is criminal.
And
that's why I traded while it was high because remember last week, Josh Jacobs had a career game.
You traded while high?
And Damian Harris.
I traded high because
okay.
No, I traded high on him. Like
he took out his crack pipe.
Yes, exactly. That's how I got this trade, is because I was high.
He's like, Damian Harris is going down.
Damian Harris is gonna win your league, bro.
Yeah. No.
That's
not the that would have been a hilarious story. But yes, you traded at the right time.
I traded at the right time, and I knew that the switch between Ramondre and Damian Harris was going to happen at some point. And I didn't know when, but they just had a really good game. Both of them had a really good game the last 2 weeks. So
and you took
Damian Harris was still kind of high, and Josh Jacobs had just had a record game. And I'm like, Javonte Williams tearing his ACL, he can sit on my bench all year. If I'm in a rebuild, I don't have any RB1s. That's what I need. That's the last piece of my team that is missing. I have.
You got to be ashamed of yourself.
he just shut him up real quick.
Sorry. Okay. So my internet's crap, but I have a pretty good team, but I'm missing an RB1 and I'm missing solid running back talent. I have a lot of depth, a lot of mediocre depth in Josh Jacobs.
You had essentially ticking time bombs in Jacobs, in Harris, and especially I know knowing Tyler, he also believes he has a chance to win this year.
Yep.
He thinks. As I went,
you guys are terrible.
But
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As he loses by 30 this week, but I digress. But the big thing
and beat me by 2 points.
The big thing, Ryan, I think is interesting is just the fact of I don't know if Javonte's ready by next year, by the beginning, but I think he does become a late season play. But even then, you have Breece Hall.
And I have a first round pick next year.
Yeah, and you have two extra. You basically have
two firsts.
Two firsts. And I will tell you, just on I've only done a little bit of looking at the college players. There is another good running back in the draft, though. That will be. Yep. Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then the dude from Pitt. The dude from Pitt. I think is Akinabata, I believe. He just set the ACC record with 6 touchdowns against Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
I may have said his name wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's what I'm going for.
That was a trade.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for. So this was a rebuild for me. I am hitting. I mean, Josh. Jacob in our league kind of said it in very good words. One team punted their season, and one team is going for the championship. Now, I was punting. This is me going, okay, I'm done this year. I already know it. I'm 1-3, and it's not looking good for me for the rest of the year.
I think for Tyler's case, I think he's panicking about Aaron Jones too.
Yeah.
He has a lot of expiring assets. So Aaron Jones is one person, and then Obviously, he's going to have Josh Jacobs, Damian Harris, and literally like Michael Carter hasn't really worked. James Cook hasn't really worked.
Yeah.
And so I think he's thinking of it on there, and even his wide receivers after AJ Brown and Devontae Adams aren't. It's DJ Moore and.
But back to your point of expiring assets, Devontae
I got
Adams.
it. I actually want to point out something. I'm gonna get to my league real quick, and I actually proposed something else to him before he took this trade.
Okay, because I want. So what was the trade beforehand?
Let's go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk. About your trade.
So Ethan and I think, had a very good trade. Ours was way more low key. But basically, I gave up Zach Wilson for Malik Willis, a 2024 second, and a 2025 fifth. Now, as far as dynasty terms, I think Ethan and I can both agree. We both think these guys are going to be really good. Ethan also has Tom Brady and Mac Jones, but I think Zach Wilson does give him a way bigger ceiling when it comes to quarterback play.
I was just looking for sooner rather than later is basically what the trade was about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I pick up some good assets in future years. And because, for lack of a better term, I really did kind of sell out for this season, and at least for the next 2 years for my team. And so getting assets and a future potentially really good player out of it, I'm okay with that deal for me, and giving up Zach Wilson now.
Yeah, it's just low key.
Yeah.
Just team needs for us.
Yeah, just team needs, and I like it, honestly. I like it for both.
Yeah, I thought it was a great trade.
Yeah.
So this updated trade, this was what I first proposed to him, and looking back at it, I'm glad he didn't take it, because I might have been high, might have been high sending this to him, but I would have received AJ Brown, Javonte Williams, a 23 first and a 24 first for Josh Jacobs, Damian Harris, and CeeDee Lamb. So,
okay. So I think AJ Brown, like he and CD, kind of on the same level.
Yeah, I would have taken that trade.
I think I may have taken that trade because it's still 2 expiring assets. You're getting literally multiple first rounders,
younger player,
and still Javonte,
and still Javonte, and AJ Brown kind of fixes your CD hole. Yeah, your CD level like hole at receiver.
Yeah, and
even though, man, I think, Ryan, to be honest with you, I think I would have taken that trade.
I would have taken that trade.
I proposed it, and he said he didn't want it. So.
Okay. I understand that. You would have fleeced him more, but this is also coming from the guy who gave me CD so I could give him to you. So, there's also
true. That is true.
So that's another thing to talk about. But
we're done. That's it.
That's week 5 right there.
That is week 5. So before we wrap up, please do not forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, as well as going onto our social media and checking us out on there, following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at LastPlaceFP. Follow us. We post all of our updates on there. So.
Yep, and don't forget our week 6 preview is going to be coming out pretty soon. And it's going to be a fun time. We really liked what we did for last week, and we're going to run it back, and we're going to see what happens. So you're going to get our dream lineups, and you're going to get some pretty big questions that we're going to kind of dive deep into. So, I mean, for that, guys, I say it was a pretty good week 5.
Yeah.
And good luck to everyone.
Before we leave, just always remember, sometimes you're right and sometimes you're right.
We'll see y'all for the preview.
Goodbye.